Welcome back to Pop Culture Explosion. This is Mike, and today I'm here with Ryan. And
What's up?
what are we gonna talk about today?
Mikey, today we're talking about one of my favorite films of all time, the cult
Really?
classic from 1989, featuring Mr. Tom Hanks and Mr. Cory Feldman, of all people. We're talking about The Burbs.
The Burbs.
Yes.
Classic.
One
You
of
know
my
what? You're saying it's one of your favorites, right? Now, see, like I grew up in the 80s, right? I was born in the 70s. I put The Burbs up there with Ghostbusters, Blues Brothers, Back to the Future. I mean, it's there, right?
yeah, yeah. I'm with
It's
you on that one. So my earliest memory of it was every Friday, or maybe every other Friday, my family would go to the video store, and one of us would get to pick out the family movie for that day. And I remember my parents came home with that one, and I was like, "What is this?" I was like, I think it was like 8 or 9 at the time. And I was like, man, what is this? The Burbs? Like, what even is a burb? Like, I didn't even know what a burb was. Like, I didn't know it was, commenting on the suburbs. But, was forced to sit down and watch it. And, oh, man, from the get-go, I was
yeah,
totally just thought it was hilarious. So, because even at that age, even that young, I kind of got what it was doing, and then as I grew older, I actually worked at a video store all throughout high school. I worked at Hollywood Video, and I would always put the Burbs on when I was working.
yeah.
Like, I just loved it, man. Made everyone else watch it too.
If you were to talk earliest memories, honestly, I don't remember like the first time I saw it or why or what. It just was. I just know it was always there. It was one of those, like, because my mom's side of the family is all horror people.
Mm.
All the old classic horror movies and all. So we were very cultish in our movies. Like, we watched the same movie, like Beverly Hills Cop, every night for a week straight. Or whatever the movie was. So I know that this movie is just so ingrained in my consciousness that
Yeah.
I probably watch it every year. Nowadays.
Yeah.
And Tom Hanks had been around already for a long time. I mean, he had done a lot of movies.
We're talking post Splash,
Yep.
post Big. So it was right in that
Volunteers.
area, like Joe versus Volcano, Turner and Hooch, like,
Bachelor Party.
yeah, Money Pit, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So he was already a bona fide star coming into this movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a what sucks you in, I think, is because it's the comedy, horror, realism. Because anybody has that story about the weird house in the neighborhood or these type of people, and that's even where the screenwriters got the idea. I think the film was written by Dana Olson, and she tells the story of having that weird house in the neighborhood, and Tom Hanks had mentioned or people that he knew would tell these stories of man kills family then self, or something like that in the newspaper, or so it's a relatable sort of.
Yeah, you know what, now that you
mixture.
say that, wasn't there was the part in the movie of the ice cream guy, like who
Oh yeah.
Ray, not Art is telling the story about the ice cream parlor guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember hearing, maybe it was in the commentary or making of, that was based on a real life event.
Oh yeah, and that makes it even more authentic,
Yeah.
And if you really start to dig into this, because like some people watch a movie and it's just surfacey and whatever, but when you get cult status, it means more.
Yeah.
It's part of the fabric of our culture, you know, coming through the 80s and stuff. Even, you know, people like Rick Dukemoon, I think his name is. He
Yeah.
played Art.
Art, yeah.
I found out he passed away about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And he had a fair amount of credits, but it seemed like he was always like the side guy, you know.
Yeah, never the main character, but man, what a great character he is
Yeah.
in this movie, right?
What's the word? The chemistry of the cast, especially like that opening scene where Tom Hanks and him are like daring each other to go talk to the neighbor, you know.
Yeah,
It's
go
just that
knock on
little
the
bit
door.
of sort of ad-libbing, you know, that they would do. I thought that was done really well.
Well, just the development of each specific character, like you know, this crazy group of neighbors, you know, in a cul-de-sac of all things. Let's face it. My wife grew up in a cul-de-sac. You know, the people just tend to be a little bit unique, a little different, right? So you got Ray, who's kind of the family guy, you know, the family man, working, you know, blue collar job. Then you got Art, who's kind of that total quirk, you know, nutball, you know, kind of thing. And then you got Bruce Dern's character, Rumsfeld, who's got, you know, kind of the smoking hot wife, right? But is, oh my gosh, just very intense, right? And then you got Walter, who's the old guy. You know, everyone kind of looks out for him. And then, but that's the kind of guy who loves the house immaculate, like the yard immaculate, trains his dog to take a dump on your lawn, not his own, right? And then you got the Klopex, right? Who,
very strange.
I wonder who I am. Isn't that a question?
I'd put you in there with probably Ray, you know.
I probably would too.
Well, and another thing that makes it so relatable is the Bruce Dern's character was totally my stepdad. You know, so that made it even more relatable to our family because, you know, he's a soldier, you know, things are a certain way. He's always hung on to that part of himself, even though he's been out of it for some time.
Yeah.
There's just so much of that was him, you know, and so that even to this day, I was talking to my mom, you know, and that came up and mentioned, you know, yeah, that's his character, you know, and things like that. And then you got a young Cory Feldman.
Oh yeah, yep.
You know, and his lines that always ring in my head are like, "Pizza dude," you know.
The pizza dude's here. The pizza dude. Hey, Rumsfeld.
What does he say? You know, like he's on the top of the roof and he yells at him or something like, you know, like, "Get out of my lawn" or something.
Hey, get this lame-o off my lawn or something. You know.
And he's eating animal crackers. It's just a little.
He eats them like this too.
Yeah.
as he's scoping out on top of the roof.
Yeah, completely obvious.
Dude.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, the more and more you watch it, the more
it just gets better.
Yeah, that like another dialogue, you know, line of dialogue will pop out, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, that's hilarious!" Like I didn't catch that before. So it is a movie that keeps on giving, even 89, 99, 30 years later. Yikes!
Yeah, it's an amazing stuff.
Mike, speaking of the dialogue, what are some of your classic, you know, the Burbs dialogue, you know, thoughts?
Okay, top quotes. Okay, kid next door is a meatball. You know, I want to kill everyone. Satan is good.
Ray,
Satan is my pal.
Ray, you're chanting. Ray.
Oh man, Art was the best. You know, it's such a pain in the ass. Like, why is he friends with this guy? You know.
My favorite. Basically, anything Bruce Dern says, anything he says, and the way in which he says it. Right.
Mhm.
So they all decide to go to the Klopek's house, knock on the door, and just try and get to know them, right? So they're all going there, and Rumsfeld, I assume his wife, had baked some brownies, right? So they're walking up onto the porch, and they ring the doorbell, and as Rumsfeld steps, his his foot goes through the porch, like the porch so and then he drops this plate of brownies, and I'm not going to say it because he swears, but he's like, there go the brownies, like just the way he says it is just, and then everything that ensues from inside the Klopek's house is
Oh gosh.
amazing.
Yeah. With the whole goes from trying to be polite to, what have you got in the cellar, Herr Klopek,
And he's peeling off the wallpaper.
Yeah. That's a good looking girl. Is she a friend of yours? It came with the frame.
It
Came with the frame.
Came with the frame. Came with the frame.
I've never seen that. I've never seen anyone drive their garbage to the curb and bang the hell out of it with a stick. I've never seen that.
But again,
it makes me think we're forgetting something really. There's just so many. There's so many lines in there.
My top one is right at the end of the film. Ray has been put in the ambulance with Dr. Klopek. Dr. Klopek comes in and he basically admits to Ray, everything that they had done, even though Ray found nothing in the basement, right? Well, I figured a man's furnace is his own business. But anyways, so they're driving away. Turns out the young Klopek is Hans Christian Andersen.
It's a fine Christian name.
Yeah, fine Christian. Anyways, so he's driving away. Then Ray and Dr. Klopek start fighting, and Ray reaches up and grabs Hans, and they crash into I think it's into a house or.
I think it's Art's house.
It is it goes up Art's house into the porch. The hospital bed comes flying out the back, and they're fighting, and then the hospital bed hits the Klopek's car, which opens the trunk. All this being said, they find the skulls, and Hans slowly gets out of the ambulance, and he's kind of looking around and starts to run. And Rumsfeld looks at him. He goes, "Hey, Pinocchio, where are you going?" And then he runs, and then he he wipes out the kid's legs and everything, and they tackle. Oh man, I could watch that part over and over again. So good.
So funny.
And you know what we haven't mentioned? Probably right up with Tom Hanks, the most famous actor in the entire film is one Princess Leia.
Yeah, Carrie Fisher. It was so weird in those days to see her outside of Star Wars. It was like, this doesn't compute,
Yeah.
But it was cool at the same time. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
So fun.
Yeah. So Joe Dante directed it.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's known for Gremlins, right?
Yeah. Yep. So it makes perfect sense. Like the subject matter and the style.
The tone. The chemistry piece to it just works all together, and,
yeah.
For a great recipe, a great classic 89 film. Now right now I've looked around, and the only place I found it in the streaming world is on a subscription of Amazon Prime for Stars. So you could do a free trial of Stars and watch it if you want to continue. I can't find my DVD. I looked all over the house, so I'm a little upset about that. But I may have to. And you could watch it in bits and parts on YouTube.
I do know it's readily available on Amazon on either Blu-ray or DVD.
There you go.
I picked up my DVD copy of it back when they were just DVDs, like way back in the day. And I've watched it countless times, and I've seen it on TV. I don't know if it was Stars, obviously that would make sense, or if it was like HBO or something very recently. But again, that's one of those films that whenever it's on, and like I'm flipping through channels and like, oh, the Burbs is on, well, I know what I'm doing for the next hour and a half or
Hmm.
what's left of the movie. Like I can't. It's like Hoosiers. I can't turn it off.
Yeah, you're in. You're sucked in. Oh, I'll just watch it for 5 minutes. No,
Yeah, yeah.
you're
That's
in
not how
for
it
the
works.
haul. So.
That's not how it works. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go wrap this up. Now, if you haven't seen The Burbs, we've kind of spoiled a little bit of it for you, but you got to experience it. Go out there and find it. Tom Hanks, Bruce Dern, Carrie Fisher, uh, many other. It's a classic. And if you have seen it and you joined us with the conversation, you can appreciate what we're talking about, because most people that are into this movie have been in for the long haul. I think this is a classic.
Hmm.
So
Maybe if you could comment with like your favorite part or favorite again line of dialogue that kind of sticks out to you. It's interesting to see what people that have seen the film, what sticks out to them and kind of what they take away from it. So
mhm.
I'd be interested to hear your viewers' thoughts on it, Mikey.
Yep. All right. So thank you for watching today, and be sure to like, share, subscribe, and look for more content, and find us on Facebook, Pop Culture Explosion, and follow us there.